acetylcholine receptors are having channels. So these channels are destroyed. As a result, no ions will be moving into the sarcoplasm. They will not be able to contract. Muscle will be in relaxed state, in fatigue state. Okay, so if the muscles are relaxed, fatigued, see these muscles are relaxed, there will be, I am opening it with the contraction of the muscles in the eyelids. So if these muscles are relaxed, unable to contract, there will be drooping of the eyelids. Okay? It may affect my limbs. And one of the important thing is this, if I feel in this case, somebody is suffering from Myasthenia Gravis, there will be weakening of the muscles. Muscles is not able to contract properly. If I repeat it, then gradually the functions will be, contractile property will be diminished. It means fatigue. What is fatigue? Can anybody answer what is fatigue? Inability to sustain a function. Here, inability to sustain contraction. So this is the fatigue. So there will be fatigue. The patient will be suffering from fatigue, muscular weakness. And it happens if it happens in the respiratory muscles, the worst condition, the patient may die. Myasthenia gravis patient may die. So what happens? Let's see what happens. This part is completely okay. No problem in the presynaptic region. No problem in the synaptic region, in the axon nerve. It's okay, fine. The problem is here. The synaptic cleft is widened. So acetylcholine has to travel a little more distance. Not only this, here, what are these? Acetylcholine receptors. Their number is reduced. Why the number is reduced? These receptors are internalized, endocytosed. Total receptor is endocytosed. So they are not available, and it is done by the action of these antibodies. Antibodies for acetylcholine receptors. So this is, moreover, one thing they will be doing. What they will be doing? We know the end plate motor, these are secondary clefts. Now these secondary clefts, number of secondary clefts will be reduced. They will be flattened. So there will be flattening of what? Secondary cleft. As a result, what will be? Reduction of surface area. So there is reduction of surface area, there is reduction in the receptors, there is widening in the cleft. Consequently, what will happen? When action potential comes, lot of this acetylcholine will be liberated and only a few will be able to bind and other will remain excess. They cannot find any receptor to act upon. So since only a few receptors are there, these few receptors will bind with acetylcholine and will produce action potential that will be able to contract a few muscle fibers. So there will be lack of or less force of muscle contraction. So muscle will be weak. And if I repeat this contraction, gradually the effect will be, the contraction will be gradually reducing and ultimately there will be complete fatigue. And when the respiratory muscles become complete fatigue, what will happen? The patient will die. So these are the, you understood what is Myasthenia Gravis? Which eye is drooped? Left or right? Left. Okay. So I have explained the etiology and what they do. They compete with acetylcholine to bind to ACR and producing receptor blockade. They induce endocytosis of ACR and they damage the postsynaptic membrane. Also, they widens the synaptic cleft. It is not written here. The features. What will be the features? So one thing is there will be gradual weakness of muscle contraction and fatigue. And even then, if you want to try to contract your muscle, again the condition will be worsened gradually. It will not improve, condition will be worsened. And women are mainly affected than men, 3:2. For every 3 persons, there will be 2 women. For every 3 women, 2 women will be there who will be suffering from Myasthenia Gravis. So their prevalence is little bit higher among women. Another thing, the muscle weakness increases during prolonged use of the muscle and improve. So when somebody with this patient, somebody is experiencing weakness, so when they are given rest, again its condition may be improved. Okay, and the extra ocular muscles means there will be drooping. We call it ptosis. P is silent here. What is the pronunciation? Ptosis. What is ptosis? Drooping of eyes. Why? Because these muscles, extraocular muscles, are unable to contract. Proximal limb muscles are commonly affected. In severe cases, respiratory muscles are affected, paralysis, so patient may die. The treatment, physiological treatment, because remember this disease may be a clinical based question. So, there may be several. What is the etiology? What is the cause? We will not tell the cause. We will give some symptoms of Myasthenia Gravis. And then what is the disease? What are the clinical manifestations? What are its features? How it can be treated? Physiologically, how it can be treated? So, this can be treated by administration of acetylcholinesterase inhibitors. Okay, so with this is one. Then is thymectomy. Here is the thymus gland. Here the T cells, B cells are modified. They produce inflammatory. They participate in inflammatory processes. In immune, means if it is really immunosuppression will be removed. So by removing thymectomy, it can be improved. Immunosuppression means corticosteroid. Whenever any condition is not improved, then what we do? We give steroids. So actually, steroid will say in kidney patient, when kidney is removed, artificial kidney is implanted, then patient is kept. Why? Kept under high dose of steroids. Otherwise, what may happen? My immune system, I have to suppress the immune system. How? By injecting these hormones, steroid hormones. Okay, steroids. So they will suppress the immunity. Now, our body immune system will not be able to find the kidney as a foreign body. So there will not be such any interaction. So that's why by injecting steroid hormones, we can suppress the immunity of the body. So that's all about Myasthenia gravis. And there is another disease, Lambert-Eaton myasthenic syndrome. Less likely to come in exam. However, you must know. What is this? This is characterized by muscle weakness, primarily in the limb muscles, which, however, improves with repeated contraction. But in the earlier case, if it is repeated, gradually this will be, contraction will be diminished, fatigue will come. But here, the condition is reverse. If it is repeated, the condition may improve. It is a that one was postsynaptic disorder. Here it is presynaptic disorder. What happens here? During production autonomy, the calcium channels, we have seen the calcium channels. When the calcium enters, then only vesicles can release the acetylcholine. Now, if I block the calcium channel, no release of acetylcholine will be there. So, these calcium receptors are affected by some autoimmune antibodies. They attack these calcium channels. As a result, no calcium enters within the sarcoplasm, so there will not be any release of acetylcholine, no contraction, no transfer of information from muscle to from nerve to muscles. Is that okay? Is that clear to you? No, now I am coming into different agents. Block it. Botulinum toxin. What is the source? Source is the bacteria. What is this bacteria? Clostridium botulinum. When a person is infected with these, a disease will be produced. This is called botulism. This is called botulism. And it is a paralytic disease. Muscles are unable to contract. Muscles become paralyzed. It is most potent toxin. Most potent toxin. In the jungle they used to hunt tigers and animals. So in their arrowhead they used this toxin. Within few minutes, the muscles become paralyzed, and after that they die of asphyxia. Asphyxia means what will happen if I close your throat? You will die, no? So this way, death because of this is called asphyxia. So a lot of housewives are killed like that only. 2 or 3 milligram, a dose of 2 to 3 milligram can be lethal. This can cause death. And how do they act? These toxins, now I told you the source. Source is what? The bacteria. Now where from this bacteria comes? Where you will get this bacteria? You can get it in water, in soil, and in animal intestine, in unhygienic food. So if unhygienic food are eaten, rotten food is eaten, animal intestine is eaten, unhygienic water is there, impure water is eaten, you drink, then you can be affected by this bacteria. Okay. These toxins are of different types, A, B, C, D, E, different types. So we can see B, D, F and G, it affects, it inactivates synaptobremin. What is synaptobremin? This is one of the snare protein needed for transfer of vesicles into the active zone, and A and B act on SNAP25. SNAP25, they actually link, this protein links the vesicle with the presynaptic membrane. Yes, presynaptic membrane. Thereafter it is fused, then it is released. So here SNAP25 and syntaxin is also important for the same purpose. We have shown you in the diagram. So A and B acts, inactivates SNAP25, toxin C breaks down syntaxin. So as a result, what will be there? No fusion, no release of acetylcholine. Thus, botulinum toxin inhibits the release of acetylcholine from the axon terminals, resulting in cessation of muscle contraction, means muscle will become flaccid. Muscle will become flaccid. No tone will not be there, unable to contract, so it will be relaxed in flaccid state. See, so synapsin, synaptophysin, synaptobremin, SNAP25, synaptostagmin. So all these are snare proteins. They are essential for acetylcholine release from the vesicles. So our toxin, this toxin, botulinum toxin, it interferes with the functioning of the snare proteins, and thereby it prevents the release of acetylcholine from the presynaptic membrane. In more details, so bacterial infection, toxin, this infection, this toxin will be coming to the blood, from the blood into the extracellular fluid, from the extracellular fluid it will enter into the ECF present in cleft. Now they will be internalized, and it has got two parts. One is long chain, heavy part, one is light part. So they will, when they will be internalized, so light part will be released. Now this light part will break all these snare proteins. This is the mode of action. It has got, this toxin is not always harmful. We can make use for cosmetic purpose, for therapeutic purpose. What is the cosmetic purpose? Here, skin is wrinkled because of contraction of the some facial muscles. So if these facial muscles are paralyzed, so there will not be wrinkle. So very light dose, very, very diluted toxin is injected. Depending on the improvement, they decide whether further dose has to be given. So depending on that improvement, they push their toxin. And another thing is achalasia cardia. Esophagus, upper sphincter, lower sphincter. Lower sphincter, when open, the content of esophagus is entered within the stomach. Now what will happen? If the sphincter remains always closed, will the food will enter into the stomach? It may happen in this disease. What is this disease? Achalasia cardia. In the cardiac region, this lower esophageal sphincter is located. So here there is constriction of the sphincter. There are muscles. These muscles actually remain contracted form, making it blocked. So what can be done? If this toxin is injected, they will be relaxed. Now it will be open. See a diagram. This is lower esophageal sphincter, and you see the lumen is open. So food can enter here. But here it is closed. Content cannot enter within this. So if injection of this toxin, Botox is given, they will be relaxed. Now there will be easy passes. So that is another therapeutic use. Another is strabismus. What is strabismus? Can anybody tell? Hey, Bengali student, therapeutic. Therapeutic eye. What is this? One eyeball at the center. Another eyeball either at this side or inside, or it is lowered, eyeball is lowered, or it is upward. Shifted to upward. So both, you are unable to say whether the person is looking at me or not. You are confused. Okay. So this can be rectified using this toxin. This can be used. And another is blepharospasm. What is blepharospasm? Frequent squeezing of eyelids. Or so these are the second type. What is that? Blepharospasm. So these spasms can be prevented by injecting botulinum toxin. Cervical dystonia. I have told about skin wrinkles and cervical dystonia. Cervical region, dystonia. It is seen in one of the scientists, greatest scientist, Hawkins. Okay? So, some are having like sudden, but not voluntary. So this can also be, this sort of spasm can also be prevented by injecting botulinum toxin. A good thing is invented. Government is not ready to spend too much of money for this. But there are some people, they want to buy this invention for their other purpose, for terrorism. So terrorists, what they do? They mix this toxin with the foods or with aerosols. When these are mixed with foods, aerosols or water, when these are ingested, within few minutes, people may die. So terrorists are using this botulinum toxin. What is this? Blepharospasm. Cervical dystonia. This is another condition, disease. Very simple stuff. What is that? Here, after acetylcholine is broken down by the enzyme, what is formed? Choline and acetyl coenzyme. So they are again, these products are again reuptake. Here, this process is prevented. So now, raw material for acetylcholine will be less. So less acetylcholine will be produced, less will be secreted, less will be the contraction. So it happens in hemicholine. Postsynaptic. So we have learned about presynaptic, now the postsynaptic blockades. These agents, toxin or drugs, what they do, they compete with acetylcholine. In my presence, you cannot come. I will occupy acetylcholine receptors. Or I will bind with acetylcholinesterase enzyme. So if it is acetylcholinesterase enzyme is blocked, now acetylcholinesterase will not be able to break down acetylcholine. So less acetylcholine will be available. Competitive blockers. Here, curare is very important for you. You may get questions from here. Here, what happens? Curare compete with acetylcholine to bind acetylcholine receptors. Attachment of the competitive blocker to ACR does not lead to opening of ion channels. Acetylcholine receptor is having one channel inside, so this channel will not be opened. So if this channel is not opened, the end plate will not be deployed, no action potential will be developed, so muscle will remain in relaxed state. There will not be any muscle contraction. And these are curare. As I said, these are used as poison by the African hunters. When this curare or galamine binds with the acetylcholinesterase enzyme receptors, they are not hydrolyzed by acetylcholinesterase. Means they will occupy the binding site permanently. Acetylcholine receptors. So there are two competitors, acetylcholine and curare. Now curare is more powerful. So it will occupy the seat and it will not be moved from there. So inside this there is the channel. So no ion entry will be there. No depletion of muscle membrane will be there. So no action potential will be there. No muscle contraction will be there. Another kind of blocker is the depolarizing blockers. Interesting. Curare, I told about this, and curare I said there will be muscle will remain in relaxed state. Animal will not be unable to move. So after some time respiration will be ceased. So the animal will die. Galamine is as anesthesia, as a part of anesthesia is given, so that we don't feel any pain. Okay, so it is given, and if it is given along with other anesthetic drugs, the amount of anesthesia required in less in amount. Okay, so for that part, as a muscle relaxant, it is used. These are the source of curare. These are the plants from which curare is extracted. Bungal toxin, venom, a crate. And another is cobra toxin, toxin from cobra. They combine with acetylcholine receptors. But permanently they remain attached to it, so there no deploration, no muscle contraction, so there will be death. See, its mode of action is different. There are acetylcholine receptors. What will happen? Acetylcholine cannot bind in presence of these two, succinylcholine and carbamylcholine. If these two compounds are present, so they will compete with acetylcholine. They will bind with the receptors. They will open the channels, but they will not be destroyed by the acetylcholine. So they will open the channels. So a lot of sodium ion will be entering. The muscle will be depolarized, muscle will be contracted. Thereafter, no repolarization. Because why? The channel is not closing. It is remaining open. As a result, what will happen? No further contraction of the muscles because of ineffective sodium channels. So these two drugs, succinylcholine and carbamylcholine, they affect postsynaptic membrane by this sort of blocking or cause depolarizing blockers. Means the muscle, the postsynaptic membrane will always remain in the depolarized state. It will not be repolarized. Unless it is repolarized, then again it cannot be contracted. So it always remains in the depolarized state. Some of these are reversible. When the doses of this drug is reduced, they are withdrawn from there. Again, the receptor, acetylcholine receptor may come to normal stage. But some drugs are irreversible. They will not leave the site. They will not leave acetylcholine receptors. They bind irreversibly. The other one bound reversibly. See, these products, these type of agents, they are pesticides. Organophosphates. These pesticides are parathion, malathion and bagon. You have heard the name bagon. Bagon spray, pesticide is it. So they are actually irreversible acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. They interfere with the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. There are same mode of action is having by nerve gas. As I said, one scientist in Germany, he first identified it. And when he tabone. He identified a product tabone. While he was working in his lab, one drop of tabone fell down on the working table. Then he realized it is dangerous. And in Germany, whenever in any laboratory any finding is obtained, it must be reported to the authority, to the defense personnel, to the government. So now they are Nazis, no? So during World War II is going on. Say the authority wanted to use this as gas in a chamber. So the opponents or the enemies in the jail particularly. So in the jail they spread aerosols having this nerve gas, and within few minutes they died because of collapse of respiratory system, cardiovascular system, and the muscles. Okay, that's all. So what you will be learning? Neuromuscular, you prepare, everybody, you prepare 2 notes. One is, you complete it within 2 pages. One A4 size, 2 sides. Within 3 sides, you finish this structure of neuromuscular junction. In another 2 pages, you describe mechanism of conduction of neuromuscular transmission. Okay? And for clinical purpose, clinical question, myasthenia gravis. What will we have? What is myasthenia gravis? What are its features? What are its cause, means etiology, and how it can be treated. So I think my slide, my PPT will be sufficient for you. So from there you make the note. And curare. Curare, these 2 botulinum toxin, 3. So you prepare all this.